So you've casted these two teams before, right? What are we looking at as far as possible picks or what we might be looking at as far as possible strats here?
I don't know if I've casted West Virginia yet. I do know I've casted Tech since I go to school with these guys, so I kind of know their champ pools.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far we do see the Sejuani ban coming out. I do know Bishan, he plays a lot of that, and he has been spamming it recently. Yeah, and whereas Tech, they're spawning with the Zac and Kled bans. Kled definitely just going to be a target ban, because Kled is not something you typically see too much in the meta right now. But yeah, also the Zac, pretty general jungler. And yeah.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to end up seeing... Those might be the only two jungle bans we see, do you think? I mean, the Sejuani makes a lot of sense because there's so much engage power there, even with the nerfs that came through in 8.4 or 8.3. There's still a lot of power and a lot of CC potential there with the Sejuani, so that ban makes sense. I do also like the Galio ban there, making sure that Virginia Tech can't really roam around too much. They're trying to limit the mid pool down to mostly just, those squishy casters that are really popular right now.
And the Nami ban, definitely directed at Joe Jacko. That is something he has played a lot and has pretty decent success on. Although that does leave Varus open, and I would not be surprised if we have a first pick Varus here. Gonna be the Skarner instead. Skarner has been rising in popularity in the jungle, just with how... Well, he's gotten much stronger after the buffs a few patches ago, and now people are just going like Predator and Righteous Glory, so you just run at him at the speed of light and then just drag him back.
It's a brilliant combo too, because like I know with Skarner a lot of the problem you have is being able to really to you're forced to kind of react with him, but building for one, having the Predator available, having Righteous Glory lets you be able to have priority over what you want to pick, what you want to do, because you've got so much speed available. Right now it's sort of like it's like what Hecarim was last season. Just being able to like cause so much map pressure and everything. And it's actually kind of funny to see everybody start getting used to seeing those spires around the rift now, because I remember when he first came out it was kind of odd. So the Xayah pick, is that kind of a surprise to you? I know you were looking for the Varus that was picked up by West Virginia University. Do you think this Xayah pick is going to be strong on Fong Francis?
I mean, he is certainly going to pilot it well. I haven't seen him play Xayah personally. Although what does interest me is that Yada gonna blind pick the Riven. This is one of his signature champions, and there are a lot of times, at least from personal experience, like you'll be watching Virginia Tech game 1, they'll let the Riven slip through, and then game 2 is just banned. So we'll see if he can do that. Xayah, not the number 2 ADC right now. You'd assume that'd be like the Tristan or Kog'Maw, but potentially Virginia Tech just wanted to pick that up to force out a Rakan ban. And West Virginia gonna also reply at the Scion, most likely gonna be top lane with that comment. Could technically be flexed to this jungle or support, but unlikely. But yeah, I'm not.
I could see that being a response to the Riven in the top. After Riven's used a lot of the CC available, right? Being able to actually get the full Scion combo off, but.
Thing is, Riven actually does okay against Scion, just due to her innate mobility. Like, if you see the Scion charging the Q, you can just dash and stun him or dash out. And then you can also just easily dash out the E or dodge the combo.
Right.
Alright. We're gonna see the Azir ban and the Vladimir bans. Vlad definitely been really strong lately, even after the Unsealed Spellbook nerfs, and Azir still one of the top dogs of the mid lane, although he's brought down a notch after the previous nerfs. So we'll see what the final ban here is for Virginia Tech.
I recommend skipping.
One thing that's kind of interesting that I've noticed in these bans, there were a lot on the side of West Virginia that were directed, 2 bans that were directed specifically to Joe Jacko. Now, having not seen either of these two teams perform before, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this bot lane, specifically because of how heavy West Virginia seems to be kind of being afraid of Joe Jacko as the support. So, Tom Kench being pulled out here by West Virginia.
So Tom Kench is a good pick. One potential way it might backfire is if K-Blitz has to gobble up Loki Wesley, and then Bishan just Skarner ulties while... Oh, no. Alchemist Nanda is in his belly, and then drags both of them into his team. Although, we'll give it a lot of safety. We might see the Zyra here. Okay, we will see that. Most likely gonna be going to Joe Jacko after the AP itemization changes actually really help Zyra out, because she's a big user of the Leandri's Rylai's combo. And so just having that buffed on her helps her a lot, not to mention Morello's on her is actually really good, because her plans can consistently apply that, and that can help your ADC just decide not to go for the Executioner's calling potentially. And it does look like Caston will be the mid lane pick here. That will be a blind pick though, assuming we aren't seeing some like cheese man from the side of West Virginia. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Oh man, AP Scion, is that making a comeback?
It could be the AP Varus that we saw on the Reddit front page a while ago.
Oh jeez, that is brutal.
I've seen that in a few of my games.
Yeah? Man, I really hope. Okay, great. The Xerath has been picked up here in the mid lane. That's good news for us. We don't have any sort of odd cheese. It is actually going to be that Scion support that... Whoa, never mind. Wow. Yeah, Scion top lane. And of course, they've got a Tom Kench. What am I talking about? Yeah, so Scion in the top lane with that Tom Kench going support. Well, actually, looks like... unless they haven't switched yet. There we go. I was wondering about that. Maybe they had actually switched champions. Yeah, Alchemist Nanda with the Varus and Tom Kench. I really like this combo, personally.
That is interesting. It does give the Varus a lot of safety if Joe Jacko ever lands a root on him. But looking at the comps, anything else stand out to you?
I think specifically what stands out to me is the possible wombo with the Scion Warwick, right? The synergy there. Scion being able to pretty much go down to whatever lane he needs to, or specifically mid lane, just from the top lane with his ultimate to help out the Xerath. Fairly immobile. Pick that into a Kassadin, which I understand for the early game is a lot easier to play against because Kassadin does have to be inside the minion wave. I think one thing that we probably need to that we'll probably be looking at too is the possibility of Kassadin picking up the minion dematerializer just to help him out in that mid lane. So that's going to be, I think it should be a fairly interesting matchup, especially if Smite Infinity is able to hold his own. So, because that's going to be really tough against the Xerath.
Yeah, another interesting thing to point out, Virginia Tech does have the double teleports, so if we're coming up to mid or late game and they decide to force a 1-3-1, West Virginia doesn't really have a second teleport to answer it, although they do have the Tom Kench ulti, kind of. But if you have the Tom Kench answering, you probably have like either West Virginia Unicorn or Alchemist Nanda down there with him. So that could potentially give Tech advantage somewhere else on the map. We'll see how this plays out.
Well, and part of that too would be that most likely if you're seeing those double teleports used at any particular time, right? It's most likely going to end up in a bot lane fight, right? Because you're trying to get that two-person advantage into a two-person lane and really snowball your advantage there. That way you can swing deck on the dragon. That would be something that I think that maybe it would be fairly likely, which kind of makes that Tom Kench ultimate a little bit useless in that particular situation. But I think we'll have to pay attention to that. Oh, in addition, okay, so total, how many Banner of Commands do you think we're going to see this game?
Well, I can definitely see Loki Wesley picking up and maybe K-Blitz. But on the side of Virginia Tech, not as much.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anybody would be, except maybe Joe Jacko picking that up. That would probably be the only person I could see that fitting the build for.
Yeah, but other than that, it is kind of hard to think about.
Right.
But
Yada may want to. I mean, I know it's a fairly inexpensive item, but he's gonna have to prioritize a little bit differently.
I mean,
so
yeah, Tech they don't really have the best siege since you have 3 melees.
Mhm.
So it's only Fong Francis on the 525 auto range Zaya to really smack down towers, but he can easily be zoned out by West Virginia Unicorn. So
Right.
Virginia Tech gonna definitely be looking for a much more pick orientated game and skirmishes, because that's where
Yeah,
their
they've got
comp
that
is.
smash and grab comp.
Yeah, that's where they're definitely gonna shine. In full on 5-on-5 fight, West Virginia should have the upper hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, assuming both teams are on equal grounds in terms of gold.
Right. I would doubt this game goes past 30 minutes only because I think VTech kind of picked themselves into a position where they need to be able to win those lanes early.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they're going to have a really tough time. Like, if the Riven doesn't snowball, not effective in team fights.
For sure.
If the Zaya doesn't snowball, still offers a little bit, but still not really doing a lot of that really key Zaya damage until they hit
Mhm.
2 items. So if there's anything that WVU can do here, I think it would definitely be camping that top lane, making sure that Yade isn't able to actually buy any of those key snowball items, right? So the Ravenous Hydra, anything that provides those resets,
Mhm.
that might be where West Virginia really needs to focus a lot of their jungle pressure, which
Mhm.
shouldn't be too hard with this, like we were talking about earlier, the Scion Warwick combo.
Yep. Well,
So I mean,
Mhm.
if Riven can dodge that the Scion ulti, definitely not getting out of the Warwick ulti. So
Yeah. I mean, one thing I am slightly concerned for in the West Virginia comp is while there is that Sign Warwick combo late game, or even mid game potentially, that could be somewhat dodgeable, at least by the members of Virginia Tech. Because
Mhm.
if they go in, they do have to go through the Joe Jacko Zyra. And Zyra
Right.
has excellent zone control and excellent anti-engage. We do see a 5-man
Yeah.
Knight come out the roof, just gonna say no to that and gonna net just some gold. But yeah, going back to my point, basically, if King Zack and Loki Wesley go on, they have to go through Joe Jacko's plans, which can be a real pain. But even then, we could potentially see the Scion and Warwick ultis dodged by Smite Infinity Fall because it's an Yone, just due to either their ultimates or pushes. So that could
Yeah.
prove to be a difficulty in the later stages of the game.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. My client is actually still loading up, so you might have to cover a little bit of the early game action for me.
Okay.
But yeah, no, and that's what I think we were really talking about, especially with the Zyra, right? Getting rid of the potential for some of that engage early, and especially because okay, so Tom Kent is obviously in melee support, gonna suffer really hard against this Zyra, who's just gonna be constantly tossing out plants, constantly harassing both K-Blitz and Nanda with so much annoying damage the entire time. So it's going to be really difficult for them to actually be surviving in that lane for too long, you know?
Yeah, pre-6, that'll definitely be the case, but once Alchemist Nanda hits 6 on this Mars, that is a pretty huge point on Mars, because he gets a lot of free burst from his ultimate, and against a Zyra who has no mobility outside of Flash, that could be really easy to just go in and repeatedly ult and kill Jojo. So
that is one advantage they do have here with the by having the tank with Tom Kent, right? Plus K-Blitz going to be able to put out a lot of damage once they get at least one item down, once they get their support item completed. Even without really anything.
In the top lane.
Wow.
We're gonna see a flash out from Loki Wesley. Gonna walk out of this one, but a burning of summoners. But yeah, you were saying?
Oh, but yeah, no, that's going to be a difficult thing for VTech to really handle, especially when you do have a lot of heavy damage coming from both Nanda and K-Blitz. Right, not really able to pop K-Blitz is going to be able to protect his ADC also fairly easily, so if they don't win that lane early, they're going to have trouble. I think it might have been a mistake for them for VTech to be picking up 2 of these early winning lanes, because it's gonna force Bishan to really pick and choose where he's gonna be ganking.
For sure. Well, he can't. Top is an easy game because Scion doesn't really have mobility outside of Flash Pre-6. And with that flush down, he can of course just visit again, run in, pop the Predator, and stun him up, and that should be an easy peasy kill.
Especially with how far Loki Wesley is pushing himself right now, he hasn't been able to really shove all the way back to back into Yade's turret to really get the lane to bounce back yet. So, kind of putting himself in a vulnerable position. However, it looks like we may have a gank going down here in the top lane as King Zack comes around the back of the turret, jumping onto Yade. The Q misses from Loki, but will end up being taken down by King Zack. Ends up flashing away from the turret to survive.
Yeah, first blood going over to King Zack on that Warwick. So that
was really what I was hoping they would do.
Yeah. Yeah, thankfully he gets out of that last tower shot that would have killed him with his flash.
Yeah, then, I mean, what you're looking at, oh wow, a little more aggression coming out of here. The teleport used from Yade will get him up back to lane, a little harassed down on the Loki Wesley.
But yeah, nothing too much happening. Mid lane CS is pretty even, despite Infinity actually going for the tier first on Caston. I don't know if this is a new build after the isolation changes, but at least as far as I know, typically Castons, they would only, well, in previous patches, they'd only go like tier into Roa if they're really
Tier actually got a bit of a buff. Well, tier items specifically got a bit of a buff in the last patch. They're a little bit better, especially now that the Seraph's Embrace, or Seraph's Embrace actually builds from a lost chapter. So he can grab that second. He wanted to grab the tier first, obviously, because you can be able to stack that up even without the added benefits of the improved lost chapter. But
top laners just going.
That's why he would grab
King
that.
Zack is coming back. Bishan is also hot in pursuit.
Ooh,
So
are we gonna have a 2v2 here?
Yeah, we might see a brawl in the top lane, although it looks like King Zack does spot out VT Bishan.
Ooh.
And jungler's gonna spot themselves out and just have a little fancy trade.
Although it looks like Bishan and Yade are still not running away from this fight. King Zack going fairly low. They turn onto Yade, able to take him out quickly before Bishan ends up taking out King Zack. Bishan now against Loki Wesley. There we go. Alright, kill on to Loki Wesley. Unicorn now going in on Bishan, will end up missing, taken down with an auto attack though. And that is Bishan losing his life there. That is what, 2-1? 2-1?
Yeah, or
2-1 fight there.
2-for-2 trade.
There we go. I lost track there about the second time. Yeah, 2-for-2 trade. Not ideal, but it was actually a very good response from West Virginia to try to take back and make that trade at least equal. That way, they don't really lose too much there.
We're now seeing the Caston power spike come in. Now that he's 6, he can actually just pop in and harass West Virginia Unicorn. We saw him do it twice there. So this lane did just get a decent bit harder for West Virginia Unicorn.
The smartest thing for Unicorn to do now would be to start trying to make plays bot, especially since you do have that fairly immobile support. You can start trying to pick on them, making the plays happen around them, because they will have to. The problem with Zaya is you don't really have a lot that you can make happen on your own terms unless you get that first snare.
Yeah, and that can be a little tricky. There are ways to cheese it, because I know, at least from my experience, you can cheese out a really fast stun by doing QWE, since pressing W while channeling Q does actually cancel.
Yeah. Ooh, alright. Well, still more aggression here in the top lane. But yeah, actually, that's fairly interesting. I didn't know that those animations actually cancel. So if he can actually show a little bit there, wow. Alright, the ultimate being used from Yade will bring Loki Wesley fairly low. The flash coming out of him, almost off of cooldown, will get away with his life. Bishan is just hit level 6, decided not to rush in and use the ultimate there to try to clinch that. Most likely can be used a little bit better elsewhere, but yeah, there's the flash out of Loki Wesley. It's going to put him at a bit of a disadvantage here.
Yep, and shoutouts to TK Mango for dropping us up.
Thank you, Mango.
Although it was with Twitch Prime, so I don't know how much money that gets us.
Hey, you know what? Hey, any sort of subscription there, I think that helps. Oh wow, Loki Wesley will end up picking up the kill there onto Yade with help from King Zach from the jungle. There we go, the second kill going down there on the top lane. This is, again, what I was hoping they would be able to do here. Wow, that is a lot of burst actually coming out of the Kassadin. Smite Infinity jumping in on West Virginia Unicorn.
Yeah. And yeah.
That Q
It's
hook, man.
calming down a little, although there has been a ton of action in that top lane.
Yeah. And see, I think that West Virginia kind of had that knowledge going in. They went, all right, listen, our bot lane will be fine once we hit level 6. We'll be able to stand up to that. WVU Unicorn can remain fairly safe against Smite Infinity, not in too much danger. Ooh, King Zach going in for Yank. Flash Q into the fear. That will be a kill for WV Unicorn. Picks that up thanks to King Zach making a loop around.
Yep, currently 52 in kills in favor of West Virginia. So far netting them a 1,000 gold lead. It isn't a huge lead, but it should be, well, somewhat noticeable. I don't know.
Considering that it's on WV Unicorn and Loki Wesley, I don't think that we'll get a whole lot worth out of the top lane there exactly. But I mean, the fact that those kills were on Yade, I think is where a lot of the benefit comes from. Definitely those 2 kills onto Unicorn are helping out. Does already have the Lost Chapter and Blasting Wand.
Here the ulti coming out. Gotta dodge out on that.
There we go. Yade going in, trying to fight for his life there. King Zach using the ultimate. Ends up being taken down by Smite Infinity. Now it is Loki Wesley running for his life. Will he be able to take out Yade? It looks like he's going very low. Ends up being picked off by Smite Infinity with the Q. Hops over the wall. And now his half-lifeless corpse is being picked off by Tower.
Yep, huge
Not
turnaround.
exactly what was planned.
Yep, huge turnaround from Tech. Now it nets them a small gold lead. And while that was happening, they managed to snag a Cloud Dragon. So that's pretty huge, because previous to this, Yade was like, what, 0-2 and 2?
Yeah, Yade was 0-2 and 2.
Or 0-3 and 2.
It would have been 0-3 and 2, you're right, because there were 2 ganks in the top lane and a skirmish in the jungle, which he ended up losing. So he was 0-3 and 2, he's now 0-3 and 4, able to back now. Should be able to get a little bit towards picking up his first item, so.
Yep, and we do see that Rod of Ages completed onto Smite Infinity. Gonna be happy to just keep stacking that up. So he is going for the tier and the Rella. Once both of those fully stack, his ult damage will actually be pretty nutty. Especially if he happens to get a, what is it, Presence of Mind, I believe? Yeah, Presence of Mind. If he procs that during a team fight and is just able to ult at like max stacks, he'll be dishing out huge damage even to tanks.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure right now that West Virginia has the amount of damage they'll need to be able to take that out, especially with the fully stacked row. It's going to be fairly difficult to take out Smite Infinity before he's able to jump into that back line.
And the bot lane has been relatively calm, nothing too much happening. We see a slight CS lead for Fong Francis, but should shrink a bit once Alchemist Nanda comes back to lane.
Yeah, nothing really to scream about there. 20 CS up, so not too much. However, we do have Joe Jacko trying to get a little bit further, establishing some deep vision here for the side of West Virginia, or for Virginia, stealing that blue buff away. That will end up going on to Smite Infinity. So,
yep. That is decently big, denying Xerath the blue, because now he just can't continuously spam and clear waves.
Right, wow. Well, still, that full combo does quite a bit of damage on Smite Infinity, even without that blue buff.
Yeah, King Zach can reply and take Virginia Tech's blue. Loki Wesley coming down to help him, but doesn't look like West Virginia Unicorn will be able to pick that up. Smite Infinity has to be a little careful, taking a lot of damage. Oh, we see a
Oh,
flash
the
ultimate.
flash ultimate from Bishan will end up spelling the end for Unicorn as Smite Infinity jumps in to not take the kill. Actually, it was Bishan that took that, but still a takedown for Virginia Tech nonetheless.
Yep, shoutouts to Bishan there, making up for his previous error flash.
I mean, he's really trying hard, so I think that is actually going to end up giving his team a lot, especially because that kill, even though it didn't go onto Smite Infinity, that's still about 150 gold in pocket of Smite Infinity. So he'll be able to put that towards, by the way, riding with the Dark Seal at 5 stacks currently. But he'll be able to put that towards that lost chapter that we were talking about earlier.
For sure. And game now a 1k gold lead and kills even up, so Tech did bring it back a little. I mean, still not a huge lead, so this is still anyone's game. We'll see what happens. West Virginia Unicorn gonna finish up the Ludens now. Definitely gonna help him with the mana department and just poking out Smite Infinity. And King Zach and Loki Wesley coming bot.
Ooh, ultimate in the bot lane, however. We will have King Zach and K-Blitz going in on Joe Jacko. Will end up losing his life. Alchemist Nande taken out as well. K-Blitz not quite able to take that, rescue his AD carry there. The flash, however, will also miss from King Zach. Goes in on Frong Francis, will flash over the wall. Loki Wesley coming in to try to finish off this kill. Yade from the top lane, teleport used. Frong Francis trying to root as many people into place. 2 men stuck in place. Frong Francis now getting very low. Yade doesn't look like he's backing off though. The ultimate from Bishan going onto Loki. However, Smite Infinity will take out the support. Now that is Loki losing his life to Smite Infinity. His lifeless corpse now beating up minions. That is 2 for 1 for the side of Virginia Tech. King Zach now looking like he might be in danger here. Bishan trying to catch up to him. That is an ultimate being thrown down onto the ADC. Alchemist Nanda just barely came back. Yeah, this is not looking good for West Virginia. Unicorn now in trouble. Just came back from base. Bishan picks that one up. That is... I lost track there. Did you count all those kills?
I think it was at least an ace's worth of kills.
I think so, yeah.
Joe
Wow.
was having... Okay, so that was just absolute madness. What originally just started as your casual 4-man gang bot from West Virginia. Actually, Joe Jacko able to net a kill back for Virginia Tech, and then West Virginia going really hard to just try and die Fong Francis. But then we saw the members of Virginia Tech collapse and just turn that around. Ooh.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, and I think just a lot of miscommunication from the side of West Virginia. I don't think they really told each other just to back off, which would have probably been the smart choice there,
Sure.
especially after King Zach missed the ultimate. It would have been wiser just to back off, reset, and take the losses they had.
Well, at that point, it's kind of hard to back off. Like, what do you do there? You got 2 people behind the tower, and you know they're collapsing completely. So what do you do?
Right. Ooh, well, another team fight going down here in the bot lane. Joe Jacko being taken out by WVU Unicorn. Looks like King Zach here in the background. Back line trying to take out Fong Francis. Not quite able to do it. Will be taken out himself. Smite Infinity jumping onto WVU Unicorn. Looking for a second here as he jumps onto Alchemist Nando. Now it is K-Blitz running for his life. Trying to find a little bit of safety underneath his towers. Bishan and Smite Infinity are not letting it go though. The Impale landing onto K-Blitz. Tries to run back on her tower. Is not going to get out of that though. Smite Infinity picking up a 3rd kill there onto K-Blitz.
Man, Virginia Tech just blowing this game apart right now. Man, when it used to be 5-2 in kills just, what, 6 minutes ago? Now it's 16-8.
They are playing this pick comp so well though, and that's the reason that West Virginia is falling apart right now.
Yeah.
They had a really good idea. They were like, okay, well, Yade is in the top lane on that Riven, very good. Let's try to just, take him out. If we can take him out, we can dominate our other lanes. Fine. Except then you had Bishan who decided to divert his resources into primarily mid lane. And with that bot lane fight going so poorly, it put so much gold over onto Virginia Tech.
For sure.
So what started off as a really, what looked like a fairly decent game from West Virginia is currently quickly turned into a nightmare. Wow. Yade looking for another kill here onto Loki Wesley. Loki Wesley fighting back as best he can. We'll start losing a lot of his life here, though. The stun and ultimate coming there out of Yade will end up spelling the end for Loki Wesley, who will angrily pound minions yet again.
Oof. Yeah, Loki Wesley just sadly had 0 mana there, and Alchemist Nanda finally picking up his Rage Blade, which is not something you really want to see, because Varus, he has that extreme one-item power spike and use that to outpace the other EEC, as I'm sure a lot of people know. But since Fong Francis has been netting a CS lead and his assist money, he's actually at 1.5 items to Alchemist Nanda's 1 item, so that does lessen the effect of that boost.
Yeah, Smite Infinity trying to go in on find another pick on WV Unicorn. Won't find it. Takes him very low, but not able to quite clinch that. As Alchemist Nanda and K-Blitz were there to save the day of sorts. But yeah, no, you're right. Picking up that Rage Blade this late in the game is not going to be doing any favors for Alchemist Nanda, especially when he's so far behind.
One good thing for West Virginia is that since Virginia Tech's comp, as we mentioned in Champ Select, has atrocious siege with triple melee and just a 525 auto range EEC, they can stall out this game, especially with West Virginia Unicorns with 8th clear on the Seraph. So Virginia Tech is gonna kind of need a Baron to just crack open some towers if they don't have any picks.
Oh, and there's the Rift Herald being launched from Yade in this top lane, trying to make as much room for himself as possible. And this is the split push that we probably should have been talking about a while back. Ooh, ultimate coming out of King's Neck will land onto Yade. Yade will flash away. Saves himself for the time being. Wow, on the bot lane, Bishan uses the Impale onto Alchemist Nanda, who will be taken out by Fong Francis. Oh, and it looks like WV Unicorn will also be paying with his life. The return kill onto Fong Francis, who stayed a little bit too late under the tower, but nonetheless, it'll be a 2-for-1 there in the bot lane. Yep. Back to the top lane, we do have Yade going back in onto Loki Wesley. Loki Wesley might be in trouble here again if he can't get out.
Gonna be a little hard for the Scion unless he ultis out. Or actually, he does.
Oh, flash over the wall. There we go. And the flash will end up getting himself to safety. Not bad.
But sending 3 members to the top to try and kill Yade there meant there's only 2 members bot lane to defend against a 4-man siege. So we just saw Bishan run him down as Skarner with the Righteous Glory and just handily win him a fight.
Yeah, especially, okay, so now that Bishan does have that Righteous Glory. Oh, K-Blitz. Looks like they might be looking for a little bit more here. Ooh, King Zach. Getting beat up a little bit there, falling to the stun from Yade. Won't find anything that he was looking for just yet.
Yep,
does not have the ultimate available quite. Oh, yep, just now. And they're having to fight through all these plants from Joe Jacko, which is making this chase down extremely hard.
Yeah, once Joe Jacko gets to the Andres or Rylars, it's gonna make that 10 times worse. Because if you're a Warwick and a Scion just running through those plants and getting slowed constantly and DPS down, that's gonna shred your health before you even get to the back line.
Yeah, especially with how well that Virginia Tech is actually playing this game. Not really giving the chance to West Virginia to actually use the Scion and Warwick combo together.
See the banner come out.
They're gonna have to... Wow. Yeah, banner coming out from K-Blitz, I believe.
Yep. Banner, Oh, here comes
Yade coming into the back line, jumping onto WK Unicorn, will not find anything, but K-Blitz is in trouble. The ultimate from Yade will end up taking everybody very low. Loki dying here on the top, in the front side. On the back side, though, we have a shutdown as Alchemist Nanda ends up taking out Smite Infinity.
Yep, Smite Infinity getting a little too ahead of his team there, giving up a charity kill. So overall, gonna be a 1-for-1. Might see a tower fall.
Yeah, unless Virginia Tech can out siege West Virginia, it's not really doesn't look like that tower is gonna go down. But we do have a reset turning back on the dragon. Virginia is gonna go ahead and take that instead.
Yep, Joe Jacka needs to be a little careful, same with Yada.
Yeah, Yade tried to get that hop over the wall, but didn't quite get it. Which is probably for the best. Ooh, the ultimate coming in from K-Blitz comes in. A lot of damage dealt from Fong Francis picking up that kill. Alchemist Nanda will follow up, however. Probably not the best use of the ultimate there. Also, Loki Wesley falling as well. Came in from the river and is picked off by Fong Francis.
Yep, K-Blitz deciding to go in solo with that ultimate, which meant his teammates had to follow through that choke point. But by doing so, they're just running over Joe Jacko's Zyra ultimate. So they had to fall back there.
Probably would have been better if he would have been able to take another one of his teammates. Might have actually been able to do something, but we'll see if he's able to pull that off next time. However, this will be Baron for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, with 2 Mountain Dragons, this Baron is just going to die in half a second. Nothing much West Virginia can really do about that. They just have to hole up in their base and hope for the best right now. Fight Finny gonna get out with the Rift Block.
Yeah, he's not in too much danger here anymore. I think he's looking for a little bit more. Using the split push to his advantage. Ooh, ends up being picked off by WV Unicorn, who spots him out in the jungle. Thanks to that ward. And that was actually a series of blind ultimates, so not too bad.
Yep, good shutdown there. Taking down one of the Baron buffs will slow the Virginia Tech momentum and of course give West Virginia more breathing room in this game. So they're certainly happy about that, but the cold harsh reality is that there is an 11k gold lead right now for Virginia Tech. And that is kind of really hard to combat, especially at 25 minutes.
Yeah, that much gold over onto the enemy team at that time. That is a full, let's see, if we're looking at items here.
And some people it might be a full item up, depending on individual gold leads.
Yeah, I mean for Smite Infinity, it's definitely an item and a half.
Yeah, he's sitting on that Rabadon. How much AP is he at? Because that has to be a scary amount of
AP. Currently he is sitting on 730 AP.
Ooh, and if he gets a Lich Bane, he's just gonna hit like a truck full of trucks.
Yeah, at that point I'm even afraid for King Zach being able to stand up against that. So and what's frustrating here is that there hasn't even been enough time for any MR to be coming out of West Virginia yet, because they've been so far behind in gold. The only person with any MR right now is actually, I believe, other than the Banner of Command on Loki Wesley, is K-Blitz with the Locket of the Iron Solari and
King Zach's Mark Treads.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, you're right, Mark Treads on King Zach. But I mean,
alright, go ahead.
That's not offering a whole lot, especially against a 3-item Kassadin.
Yade bought a banner and just used it on the cannon, so this tower's gonna die.
Yeah, this is game over. At least for this tower. With how far back it's able to sit, it's gonna be really difficult even for this really strong siege. Okay, Blitz walks a little too far forward, ends up being taken down. Loki Wesley jumping onto Yade in the backside. We do have King Zach trying to go back and save the ADC, but will end up falling to Yade as well. WV Wesley falling. That is an ace for the side of Virginia Tech there. And Mastery's being flashed. That is game over.
Are people around allowed to survive this?
You know what? It happened.
I guess. I mean, they were clearly going to lose there, so I guess it's true.
I think they decided to save that extra, 30 seconds probably for Virginia Tech to take out those towers in the Nexus. They were sitting on Baron. They had that buffed up minion. They had all 5 members alive. I don't think it would have been too hard for them to have won that. But yeah, that is a surrender coming out from the side of West Virginia. A very well fought first game, though. I think the first 10 minutes is where they really like stood their own, but Virginia Tech just able to use that roaming potential so well.
Yeah, as you mentioned, around that 10-minute mark, especially in that bot lane fight where we saw that 5-man bot and the turnaround gang top, those were the turning points, in my opinion, where Tech just started just clawing their way back and then just running away at the game.
Yeah, and honestly, I think we need to go honors to Bichon for that. For the later part of that game, being able to consistently take picks off of West Virginia again and again, being able to give back to his team there. Even if the early jungling wasn't quite as clean as we were kind of hoping, I think that he still picked himself up, picked up the team, and was able to carry them through to the end.
Well,
and Infinity too.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to a short intermission now while the players get ready, and so us, the casters, can take a break. So we will see you guys soon.